For many years, I was deep inside the occult. I sat in secret meetings where witches and Satanists laughed at Christians who prayed because most of those prayers never even reached the throne of God. Why? Because we knew the spiritual laws that allowed us to intercept, to silence, and to block midnight prayers before they could cause any damage. I was once assigned to watch believers at 12 a.m. When they thought they were shaking the heavens, I was the one shaking my head, enforcing the rules of darkness against them. Today, I will expose these hidden spiritual laws, the very ones which is used against you, so that your midnight prayers can finally break through. When I speak about these laws, I am not sharing from books or theories. I am confessing from my own assignments in Ghana, where I operated as part of a network of witches and occult agents. I was sent into homes, churches, and even hospitals to make sure that prayers never reached God's altar. We monitored who prayed and when they prayed. If you prayed weak, we ignored you. If you prayed strong, we marked you. Many times, I sat in rooms filled with smokes and incantations, watching as your very words of prayer were weighed and intercepted in the spirit. Some prayers burned us immediately. Others we laughed at and crushed. The truth is this: midnight prayer is one of the most powerful weapons a believer has, but it is also the most targeted by the kingdom of darkness. And now, I will open the 4 major laws we enforced to stop prayers from rising. 1. The law of atmosphere. We knew that prayers are not just words. They ride on atmosphere. If we could corrupt or pollute the atmosphere around you, your prayer had no weight in the spirit. If we could corrupt or pollute the atmosphere around you, your prayer had no weight in the spirit. In Accra, Ghana, there was a young woman named Essie, a devoted believer who always rose at midnight. Her prayers were fiery, but in our coven meetings, we noticed her consistency. We couldn't confront her directly, so we polluted her atmosphere. Every night before she prayed, we stirred up sudden arguments in her family house. Her sister would shout at her. Her mother would complain loudly. Her phone would buzz with unnecessary messages. By the time she knelt down at midnight, her heart was heavy, her spirit distracted. She still prayed, but her words carried no fire because the atmosphere was poisoned. In Kumasi, Ghana, a man named Kwame Mensah was known for leading midnight intercession in his small church. Our assignment was simple: corrupt the environment around him. We sent monitoring spirits to stir loud music from a nearby bar every time he prayed. Dogs barked uncontrollably outside his window. Neighbors quarreled violently at 12 a.m. sharp. His prayers became short, tired, and inconsistent. The law of atmosphere worked. His words no longer ascended with power. Law 2. The law of agreement. In the spirit, agreement amplifies power. We witches know if we can force you into agreement with fear or sin before midnight, your prayers lose authority. In Cape Coast, Ghana, there was a student, Adwa, who prayed faithfully at 12 a.m. in her hostel. But before she prayed, we manipulated her through dreams of immorality. Each time she fell into secret sin during the day, it became a spiritual agreement against her. At night, when she prayed, we invoked the covenant of her sin as evidence against her. Heaven turned silent because she had unknowingly agreed with our side. In Takora, Ghana, a fisherman named Kojo was a stubborn prayer warrior. No matter how we attacked him, he prayed harder. So we used his own anger. Before midnight, his neighbor would deliberately insult him. Kojo would explode in rage, curse the man, and hold grudges in his heart. At 12 a.m., when he tried to pray, we stood in the court of the Spirit and declared, he agreed with bitterness. That bitterness nullified his prayer fire. Law 3, the law of substitution. If we couldn't stop your prayer, we would redirect it. We could substitute the target so your prayer never hits its true mark. In Tema, Ghana, there was a pastor named Reverend Kofi Ajima. He rose every midnight to pray against witchcraft in his community, but we applied substitution. While he thought he was binding witches, we redirected his prayers into confusion over his finances. He grew poorer, frustrated, yet he thought he was winning. His church collapsed, not because his prayers were weak, but because we swapped the target in the spirit realm. In Sekondi, Ghana, a young nurse, Abena, often prayed at midnight for her sick father. We couldn't stop her, so we substituted her prayers. Instead of covering her father, her words were redirected to strangers in far lands. She woke up feeling victorious, but in reality, her father's health declined rapidly. Substitution made her prayer irrelevant to her true burden. Law 4, the law of timing. Midnight prayers are dangerous to us because they strike at the gates of time. If we could delay or misalign your timing, your prayers became powerless. In Sunyani, Ghana, there was a trader named Yo, who always vowed to wake up at 12 a.m. But every time we attacked his body with sudden sleep, he would wake at 2:30 a.m., tired and ashamed. He still prayed, but the gates of midnight had closed. The law of timing had robbed his prayer of impact. In Ho, Ghana, a choir leader, Miriam, rose daily to intercede for her church. We knew her prayers were fire at 12 a.m. sharp. So we sent distractions, sudden stomach pains, midnight phone calls, unnecessary thirst and hunger. She would waste 30 minutes battling the body until she prayed at 1 a.m. instead of 12. By then, the demonic altars had already been reinforced. Her prayer became an echo instead of a hammer. These are the laws we enforced in darkness, laws of atmosphere, agreement, substitution, and timing. Many Christians think they are praying, but their prayers never leave the room. I tell you not to frighten you, but to warn you. Midnight is real warfare. If your atmosphere is polluted, If your agreement is with sin, if your prayers are substituted, or if your timing is delayed, then witches have already won. But if you stand in holiness, keep your heart pure, and align with the Spirit of God, no law of darkness can stop your midnight cry.